I caught cats instead of coons. What are you doing in there? You're not supposed to be in there. Come on, get down. These cats are crazy. This is the chicken coop, but right now it's the cat house. Trying to get this cat to get out of the cage, and it's just sitting there. So anyways, here's the cat food I usually get them. Purple cat is what we call it. When I go to the feed store to get it, I'd like a big bag of purple cat. She goes, I don't have any purple cats. But anyway, so yeah, I put the feed in here. That should last them a little while. I'll wait till it gets down to half again before if I buy some more. But I'll put my diatomaceous earth blend over the top, and that will help keep the parasites and whatnot down with them. So I still got a lot of grain here, so I guess maybe I got the last of the coons, but I'm still gonna set the trap every time I'm home. But it looks like I'm catching cats now instead of coons. Coon cats! He's all trying to get out. Oh, that's Tails. He's trying to... I'm gonna let him out here in a second. Make sure this feeder is going off. Yep. Okay, cool. Wow, look at that ragweed dust on my bumper. It is officially ragweed season. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I went too fast. There it is. Now it's clear. And that's how I normally feed the chickens. That hole could be a little bigger for the cat food. But so I got an automatic feeder in here. This is supposed to be a deer feeder, but it works great for the other animals. So I'm gonna buy 2 more, but the other 2 are gonna be different. They'll drop the food straight down, and that'll be for the cats and the goats. And so I'm gonna do is get a little pull behind trailer, like a lawnmower trailer, a small lawnmower trailer, and I'll set one of these up on it, and then it'll have a chamber. The one I'm looking at getting has a chamber on it, and then it has these little collection compartments at the bottom where the deer can stick their faces in and eat the feed. Well, I'm gonna get 2 of those, but the one for the cats, I'm gonna take the bottom out of it so it'll drop straight down into a bucket like this. And then the cats can basically fight over it. But it'll go off more than once a day. So that way the dominant cats will get the first feel, and then maybe 30 minutes to an hour later, it'll go off again. And then the lesser dominant or the switches will get the second meal, and then it'll go off another 30 minutes to an hour later, and then the subs will get their feel, or the kittens, whatever, the lesser aggressive ones. And pretty much the same with the goats, although the goats are porkers, so chances are the dominant ones are going to get all the feed. But and then I put herbal blends in it to keep the bugs and parasites down. I got another little feeder up in the greenhouse for Libby and whatever cats hang out up front. So I got this feeder back here for the cats in the back. Once the cats have their own cat house, like this, I'm gonna build them a cat house like this. I'll have the feeder in there, and it'll be at the center of the property. And now, if I get the 30 acre or 15 acres next door, then I'll probably build another cat house over there and have, two. Because there's dominant cats that will rule each location. Like Libby runs the front, and Mimi pretty much runs the back. But Mimi is more tolerant than Libby. So Libby, Callie, and Swirl don't like other cats. Callie gets along with other cats better than Swirl does. Swirl does not get along with other cats, nor does Libby. So, all right. Anyways, so this is the chicken house. I'm just feeding the cats in here right now because I don't have anybody to look after them while I'm gone. And when I did have someone here to look after the animals when I was gone, they barely did the bare minimum, if that. So I had to come up with solutions to do it myself without having to be here all the time. Come on, kitten, get in there and eat. This one's scared. Kitty, 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 kitty. Come in here and eat. But anyway, so I'm going to go feed the goat now, and then I'm going to go up front and feed myself. I typically take care of the animals first. I mean, I had a little bit of something, but not much. Just enough to get me by. And yeah, where's that pan? I had a pan that I fed them with. Oh, my mom said she fed him. Maybe she didn't bring the pan back. Dang it, Mother. All right, well, I'll figure something out. I got these little thingies here. I'll probably just use them. They're paintbrush holders when you're painting with paintbrush, and to make good feeders. So I don't know what happened to that pot. But oh well. All right. Well, I guess I'll keep recording while I'm getting this ready. But I'm gonna have to wax spider webs on the way down to the goat yard. Actually, no, I won't, because well, I still probably will. He's being moved to the goat yard that he likes, which I have a little bit easier access to. Yeah, this is that junk food that David Ray says I feed the goats that has no nutritional value. It's oats, alfalfa, corn, and some other stuff. And then, this is mostly a treat. And this is what I put the herbal blend in to help keep the parasites down. So it doesn't matter if it's nutritional or not, necessarily, as long as they like it. And Because if they don't like it, they won't take their herbal blend. But I try to make sure it's nutritious. I get them either the best or second best, depending on the price, you know. I'm cheap, but I'm not cheap enough to feed them crap, you know what I mean? So, and then this bucket here has grains and stuff that people, my brother was working at a feed. Well, I guess you might call it a feed place. But he was working at a place where they sell grain and whatnot. Probably feed too. But most of the people that came in there bought the grain to plant, I believe. My brother watches my videos. He's the only one, so he'll know. He'll be able to correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, and this here's chicken feed. So it's got sunflowers, corn, Milo, oats, wheat, and some other stuff in there. So I mixed the, since I don't have any chickens right now, I mixed the goat food with the chicken food, and then the stuff my brother was selling. It's scrap. You know, they had waste laying on the ground or whatever from people coming and getting grain to plant. So, yeah, it's a little dusty because of the diatomaceous earth. But, so now, and there's a little bit of dog food in here too. But it's mostly grain. It's got a little bit of pork in it for protein. But that was mostly for the chickens. Now that I'm feeding it to the goat, I won't be putting any more dog food in there. So he gets a tiny bit of pork, not very much. But yeah, it's mostly corn, oats, alfalfa, wheat, sunflower seeds, whatever corn meal they put in the dog food, and some other grains. So it's got a good, healthy diet there, and it's just a treat. You know, that's all I give them. And actually, I wouldn't give them very much. I just only have one wether left, so I need to get another goat for him to have a friend. But I'm holding out for a Nigerian buck, because basically my project that I want to do is when I get around to doing goats again, if I get around to doing goats again, it's called Skygerians. I already coined the phrase. I own the domain name. I don't think anybody else is doing this. So it's kind of an experiment to see what kind of milk they will produce. My veterinarian already said that that my project will come out well for a meat goat. He said pretty much anytime you cross a milk goat with the meat goat, you get better meat. And Nigerians are said to have one of the better meats. So, ideally, I want to do a meat goat. I'm not that interested in milk goats. But Nigerians, there's Paul. Cool. We didn't find him last night, so I was worried he wasn't alive, but he's alive. Cool. Nigerians also have one of the best milks, and I gotta get his bucket. I forgot to do that yesterday. What was I saying? So Nigerians are said to have one of the best milks. Kikos have decent milk. People milk them. But you can only milk them like 6 months out of the year. From what I understand, you got to get them pregnant again before you can milk them again. They were crossed with the Nubian and a couple other milk goats. But I'm not sure how many milk goats you can milk year round, but they say the Nigerians you can. And I think that's why the Nigerians are the most popular for milk, is because you can milk them year round. So I'd like the goats to be more Paul size. The Kikos are a little bigger. And the Spanish goats are a little bigger. So Kikos were originally a feral goat. And they crossed them with like 3 milk goats to give them more bulk, and they wanted to make them a meat goat. So, there's the bucket. Yeah. Yeah, Paul likes this yard better. So the Kikos were fairly parasite resistant because they were a feral goat and they were eating a bunch of herbs in the wild that were probably anti-parasite herbs. And so that gave them a parasite resistance, herd immunity, so to speak. People call it that, but it's not really herd immunity. I mean, it kind of is, but they built up a good parasite resistance because they've been eating a lot of herbs in the wild to help them fight out the parasites. Well, Kikos are pretty hardy. Well, lately, people started crossing Kikos with Spanish goats because they too are hardy and parasite resistant, but they've been crossing them with the Kikos so that they'll have, the Spanish goats, so they'll have even more bulk. And they're basically just trying to make a better meat goat. But again, they're also going for parasite resistance and hardiness. Well, the Nigerians are smaller, so I kind of like, going a little smaller, not too big. I'm spilling most of it. All right, come on. Man. I think I got all the coons, so I don't got to worry about the coons coming and eating his food now. Man, come on. It's over here. Matt. There you go, Paul. So we call him Paul because he ain't got no balls, and my nephew nicknamed him No Balls Paul. So that's pretty much his name now. Cool. So anyways, the Kikos and the Spanish goats are more hardy, more parasite resistant. And they got more bulk for meat. And so I was going that direction because David Ray had Nigerians when he first came down. They were his goats. And he never really took care of them. He never milked them. His original herd almost died off. He only had 2 left from his original herd because he just didn't take care of them. And they were just dying. And then he said they were dying because of they were too inbred. So I believed him, right? So I went out and bought some more goats so they wouldn't be inbred anymore. Well, half those goats died. And he said, oh, you bought too many goats. We have too many goats for the land, and they're not getting enough nutrients on the land. There's not enough nutrients on the land to support the goats because you got too many goats. And I was like, wait a minute. We have 17 goats and 15 acres, and you could put up to 10 goats per acre. I don't understand your logic. You're supposed to be smart, you know? Problem is he thought he could outsmart me and bullshit me and tell me that I'm made a mistake when I didn't, and I would automatically believe him. And naturally, I used to, you know, because he's really smart. So I trusted his intellect. But anyway, so all the Nigerians were dying, and I couldn't figure out why. It wasn't because I had too many goats, because I got 15 acres, and we didn't have fencing. So all we had was 1 yard, because David was supposed to finish this yard at the time, but he never did. It took me 3 years to get him to do this yard. So we only had, I think, the 1 yard at the time. And so they were out every day pretty much to forage on our 15 acres plus the 25 acres behind us, plus another 15 acres next door, plus wherever else they went. You know, they went wherever they wanted pretty much every day. But, you know, we're looking at 15, 30, 55 plus acres that they would go out and forage every day. But he said, oh, I bought too many goats. They're dying because of now being malnourished. But the problem really was they kept coming back to the same house every night. And they were getting parasites. I didn't know that, but I figured it out because I started doing my own homework. And Judas always said, whenever we first got here, that we needed to rotate the goats. We need a minimum 3 yards. We got to rotate them every 3 weeks. But we weren't doing that because we only had 1 yard. And he wouldn't, I had the materials, but he wouldn't put up the, fence. You know, I was over the road. His job, my job was to pay the bills. His job was to do the work. I paid the bills, but he didn't do the work. So anyways, so I discovered that, you know, I found out you got to get them tested every so often, blah, blah, blah. Then, if they got worms, you got to give them, you know, medicine. So I found out they had worms, so I went and bought the medicine so that he can give them the medicine, but he wouldn't give them the medicine. He said it's not organic. I was like, well, they're going to die. You know, and his argument was, well, you know, because we called ourselves organic at the time. And he said, we can't call ourselves organic if we're giving them this pharmaceutical, blah, 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 basically throwing it in my face that I'm being, I don't know, sure what the right word would be, not true to my word if I was saying I'm organic, but I'm giving them pharmaceuticals. And I'm like, all right, fine. We're not organic anymore. Give them the pharmaceutical. So I took the organic out of the name, but he still wouldn't give them the pharmaceutical, so I had to do it. And that's basically whenever I took over goat care. But again, we had these Nigerians, and we weren't milking them, we weren't eating them, we weren't doing nothing with them. They were just POCMs, pet organic composting machines. And everybody kept saying, why do you have milk goats if you're not going to milk them? And I'm like, I don't know. That's David Ray's thing. I don't even know why we have them for the most part, except for weed control. And people had been trying to talk me into going in the meat goat direction instead. And my friend Kirsten, who I respect as a very smart businesswoman, was one of them that was actually really encouraging me to get rid of the Nigerians and get meat goats. So I started doing some homework as to what I wanted, what I needed, whatever. And that's how I've settled on Kiko Spanish goat crosses. So I contacted a friend who had Kiko boar cross goats. And I thought, well, you know, I'll start somewhere. I'll start there. And then I'll find a Spanish goat or whatever and cross them. Well, he didn't want to sell any of his goats, so he referred me to his goat trader. And his goat trader had Spanish and Kiko cross goats. So it worked out. It's perfect. So I bought 4 nannies. One was a Kiko. The other 2, I think 2 of them were Kikos, and the other 2 were Kiko Spanish cross. What? Oh yeah, I'm just got done. And so I got 4 nannies, and I was gonna sell all my Nigerians, but then I thought, then I came up with the idea of just keeping the bucks, because people don't really want the Nigerian bucks. They want the Nigerian females. So I was trying to sell the Nigerian females, and I was going to keep the Nigerian bucks and breed them in with the Kiko Spanish goats. And that's where I came up with the idea for Skygerians. All right, is my pizza cold now?
Yeah.
All right, so my mom brought me pizza, but I'm busy taking care of the animals first. So now I'll go eat.
Spray Candy's nose?
Yeah.
Did you see the baby or no?
Oh, that one? No.
I didn't
Mimi took it somewhere probably.
That punch got a rabbit.
Cool. Don't tell Sophie.
No.
I'm just kidding.
She's fending for herself. She's good at that.
Yeah, Mimi and Libby.
Yeah. I haven't seen Libby yet.
Oh, she was up there.
In the
Greenhouse, yeah. Cause I went to top off the cat feeder up there, but it was still full. So, well, I only have it set for 1 second. where this one's set for 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Libby hunts for most of her food anyway. She's not skinny.
She's not the only one up there.
Yeah.
Now.
But I thought the timer was like not working because it was still full. I was like, so I checked everything. And it's like, weird. I don't know.
You bump it up like 3 seconds if there's more cats.
Yeah.